Miketendo64 presents.
Hello everybody, I am Mike Scorpio.
And I am Mario Faced Monster,
aka Jack Longman.
Together we are Miketendo64,
a news, reviews and personal views website that covers all things Nintendo, official, unofficial, fan-made or the real McCoy. And today we have been volunteered, or rather we have volunteered, let's be fair, we volunteered to do this, for Game Over Jesse. We are volunteering to do the mailbag.
to assist by answering a couple of questions sent in by you.
So, to start us off, obviously you already know Game Over Jesse, the Zelda Theorist, and what a great Zelda Theorist he is.
Notorious in the field.
Absolutely. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put our very own Zelda Theorist into his shoes, and we're going to read out a couple of questions that have been sent into the mailbag, and he's going to give us his opinions on Zelda Theories, whether it's Zelda Theology or the legend of the hero himself.
Okay.
So, to start us off,
Question one.
Yes, we got on the computer here, I'm just going to read it, by Shadow7557. Should Zelda games get rid of themed dungeons like the Water Temple and Fire Temple and focus on new types of dungeons, or do you prefer themed dungeons?
Right. As far as themed dungeons, I think they have to stay, but they could mix it up a little bit by doing a different theme entirely. I mean, I know that's a bit limited considering it's desert, shadow, it sort of covers the range. But the themes work, they're as crucial to
so.
it as it's like the sages, you know, the fire medallion is part of the integrated into the core. So the
Exactly.
themed state dungeons, it needs to stay because they are fundamental to it. Because otherwise, what sort of dungeons will you want to expect? A bone temple won't really work. Icicle temple, again, that's ice, so you just better off sticking with ice.
I mean, if you look at it, for example, like saying, I mean, how can you have a fire-water temple merge unless the whole thing on top is on fire and then everything underneath the dungeon is flooded? Now, to me, I don't think I'd really like that, because then most dungeons give you a sort of like base plan as to what each dungeon entails. For example, the Water Temple, everything's full of water, so you sort of gear yourself up as an adventurer to take on these sort of things. So in your equipment status, you would have the iron boots, you'd have the Zora's tunic or the blue tunic, whatever it would be called in each game, maybe the long shot as well to help get you to faraway places. Basically, we're working on Ocarina of Time here for this theory.
But yeah, it's like, say you did get rid of the themes.
Yeah.
Essentially, what you'll wind up is temples that are pretty much the same, then it's more Tomb Raider than Zelda.
Yes.
The themes is what is part
It's
of
what
Zelda.
separates each temple from
Because
each
otherwise you just got, oh, this one's a cave sort of temple and this one's more structural, but they're all the same. It's the themes themselves that give it life and make it stand
That do make
out.
it the way that it is, absolutely.
And they make each temple different than the other. So the temples or dungeons, they do need the theme. The theme
They do.
has to stay, because to
I
get
think
rid
so.
of it would be a step in the wrong
Because
direction.
obviously you are also limited to the amount of weapons that you can use in your quick access in your inventory. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be going to your inventory every time to just select out weapons and then change them. So, for example, like I was saying about the Water Temple, you would have items like the iron boots, the long shot, maybe the bow and arrow. Whereas in a Fire Temple, you wouldn't necessarily need the iron boots, but you'd want the Megaton hammer, and therefore you don't want to be chopping and changing between each individual.
It's like the Spirit Temple. You want the Lens of Truth and the Hover Boots for starts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's two things, and obviously a weapon, a long range attack weapon to help out in those sticky situations.
Yeah.
So I think ideally, our personal opinion is that you should stick to themed dungeons, Nintendo. Personally, I think it makes it easier for the player and it helps them to accustom to what it is they have to deal with.
But more than that, it is what separates Zelda from other games with temples and dungeons.
Exactly.
It is what separates it.
Mind you saying that, if you look back to the original Pokemon, for example, not that it has dungeons per se, but when you went into the mountains,
Yeah, the mountains. Yeah, the
in
nice
the mountains, you had all the rock Pokemon, or the ground Pokemon. There's the power station that you go that's got all the electric Pokemon. I think there's a ghost house or something.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a ghost house.
The dead, the original,
yes.
the original game. But there's also like in where you touch down in Pokemon, so the gyms, you know.
Yeah.
If the gyms all just mix, you know, anyone can have whatever Pokemon. All the gyms just, each of them would be exactly the same.
You wouldn't be able to set yourself up to deal with
When you
it.
go to a fire gym, you expect, you know, oh, it's fire, so I'm going to use water or rock or, you know, anything that's a type of advantage. Yeah, that and like the dungeons, it's exactly the same thing. It's what makes the game the game. It's a crucial part of it.
So we hope that has covered your question, Shadow7557. Our next question is by Nimanator. I hope I am saying that right. If not, please forgive me. And their question is, do you prefer Zelda games with a lot of side quest content, or with no side quests and a longer story?
Well, for me, side quests are a must, because in games like Majora's Mask, you get to meet Andrew and Cafe through the side quests. You know, you get a feel for each character in this world that is waiting its demise.
It builds on character development.
You have the characters who are staying, and you get to know, you know, you do get to meet these people, you get to know a little bit about them and their story, and it makes you feel for them, and it's actually what makes you want to save the world, to save them. Because, you know, otherwise it's easy to go, no, I don't want to, you know, it's not like I know them, why am I saving? By this, you meet the person, you build relationships with them, you start to care for them and their story, and it also takes you to new places. You know, sometimes it gives you new items. It's like Sculpture of the Dungeons.
Yeah.
You know, they're just fun to play it, to be fair. In Majora's Mask, you know, you're going around sculptures. It's like the pose in Twilight Princess. I liked going around getting those things. Yes, it was tedious when sun would rise again and the pose goes away when you just managed to get to it. It's like, all I needed to do was pick it up. I'd already killed it. He's on the floor. No, we will meet again, Poe. Count on. Side quests are a must. They have a huge, like themed dungeons. They are what helps establish character in development for Link, because otherwise he's just...
It also extends the life of the game, I think, as well, because it gives you more to do. I mean, if you just stuck to the main story, I mean, even if they did do a longer story, which is all well and good, but then in the end the story will finish, and then you have to think to yourself, well, what do I do now?
Yeah, but it's with that, it's like in books themselves. If you actually read a book, it's not always about beginning to end. There are side quests in the book, you know.
Of course, there's different storylines that, different parts of the story.
Different parts of the story that take you elsewhere and finish. And it's exactly the same, you know. In the book, the plot twist is a side quest. It needs to be there because it's what helps establish the story and gives it more reason. Because if you're just going from the beginning, running to the end, you sort of cheating yourself out of the experience for starters. But also, in all fairness, Link is someone who's suddenly become a swordsman. You know, side quest gives him more time to practice his sword, so he's more of a seasoned swordsman when he fights up against Ganondorf. Because swords not easy, okay? It takes some people it takes years to master just to be able to shield. You know, because even the shield can be hassle. So you can't just pick it up and, oh no, I can do this on the next one. There's a lot that goes into it that you don't see. It's like Link with Lara as well. Come on, you know, he picks it up, and the only person who's failing the archery is the gamer. So no, side quests are a must because it gives him the time to develop his skills.
I mean, I must say I am a big procrastinator. So whenever it comes to doing the most or main important things, for example, do I go to work this morning? Do I take out the garbage? Do I have to pay my taxes this morning? No, I'm going to play video games instead. And it's just those little things, you know, trying to avoid having to actually do the gruesome act in which we have to do the main part of the story. But if we can avoid a little bit, if we can, to help extend the gameplay.
And the life of the game.
Exactly.
So, you know what else? It's also a lot more hilarious having, you know, doing the Link voice in your head. Do I go take out Ganondorf, or do I go get a heart piece?
Or should I do fishing? And we're back to procrastinating.
So it's the things that gives the game life, you know. It's the world is threatened, Zelda is gone, I'm going fishing. That highly emotive vibe.
I'm gonna get that £21 fish.
It speaks to Link's character, because don't forget when we do see him in the beginning, he's usually sleeping. He's generally this lazy person who, interestingly enough, you never see sleep again till at the end of the game. Except in Skyward Sword, whenever he can just jump down on the bed. But it speaks to his laziness of the character. When he's doing these things, it's like, I could do this, but I'm just gonna do this easy. It's simple. And I think that is what makes Link. It speaks to him and it brings him further to life. Side quests are a must.
I think so. Next question. This is by the Gamer Project 228, and they say, what if Zelda Wii U is before the flood of Hyrule in the Wind Waker? Because the starting clothes are similar and there is an ocean in Zelda U. I know it's kind of weird, but just a theory. Haha.
What's the name?
The Gamer Project 228.
Well, Gamer Project, I actually like your theory because, like you said with the clothes, I don't think it's before the flood. I'm actually hoping it's after. Because in Wind Waker we meet Link for the first time when he's wearing clothes very similar. And then obviously that carries on into Phantom Hourglass. And then the third game, the trilogy, is Spirit Tracks, which is them 100 years later on the new kingdom or country they found at the end of Phantom Hourglass. I like to think that Zelda U is going to be a continuation to Phantom Hourglass. This is Link, the same Link, just a few years older, and he's exploring the new country, establishing the kingdom. Because in that you had like this pretty much an open world, but with like villages dotted here and there, and obviously Hyrule Castle. I sort of like the idea that it's a new land, and they're establishing the kingdom and all that that's gone on, that's built this place. So because with the clothes and that, and the general art style of that meets Skyward Sword, it has the feel for it.
I personally think, I'm of the other way. I personally think it probably takes place even sort of after the Skyward Sword storyline, because there's a big part in between Skyward Sword and obviously the first one, which I think is up to Ocarina of Time, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Because all the others take place after.
Including the very first game.
Exactly. Which includes the introduction of Ganon, who comes in afterwards, much later. So in a way, I think it's probably somewhere in the storyline between Skyward Sword and Ocarina of Time. There just seems to be this big piece that could be that fit in there.
Well, like you said, there is a piece, but obviously because the events are like Miniature Cap and that, it's like in there. But one theory I've been seeing on the internet that I really like, that seems to be gaining momentum, is that Zelda U is going to be a remake of the original Zelda game. That's the theory they've got going, because when they first established the game, they wanted this huge open world thing, and the way it's going, it's sort of keen into how they always envisioned Zelda being. Yeah. Also, it explains why we ain't had a name for ages. It could just turn out to be just that, a rumour, but it'd be an interesting one nonetheless.
I think so. Okay, so our next question is from Brian Sarmiento Chavez, and he says, what theories do you have on the mysterious character Linkle? I now ask, what do you think Linkle is based off, or is she not the reincarnation of the hero?
Right, now this
Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, from Linkle from Hyrule Warriors, obviously, and was originally meant to be in the first game, but she was a discarded concept. But what I like about her character is the tying to Twilight, her style. Yeah. It looks a bit like Skyward Sword Zelda meets if Link from Twilight.
Yeah.
But the crossbows herself ties into that of Twilight Princess. And what I like is, apparently in the remaster, some of the characters in Alden are having some slight changes done to
From Alden Village.
Which sort of ties into a theory here. Because if you remember, in Twilight Princess, there's the young boy Colin, who's a fan of Link. Mm-hmm. His father, Russell, is a former knight to Hyrule, and is Link's mentor. He's the one who taught him how to use a sword and that. Now, Russell's character is based on Link's uncle from A Link to the Past, the one who originally goes after Agnes. The theory is Russell isn't just a mentor, but he might actually be Link's uncle.
Okay.
Hence why Link is in order, because although he also used to be a knight, usually it's only Hylians are the knights.
Mm-hmm.
And because he's got the rounded ears, he's deemed not Hylian, but he could easily have been the son of a Hylian and someone else, except he hasn't got the prominent identity.
Hylian ears.
But Russell had a daughter, a baby girl, who was never named and you never really saw. And Colin was always a huge fan of Link, and by the end of the game he became a hero. My theory is, because of the Twilight Princess tie, Linkle might be the little girl. Because Colin was such a fan of Link, he named, or would call his sister a name after the person.
Link.
And because she's little, Linkle, little. Link, little Link.
Well guys, that is all we have got time for of your lovely questions, and we just want to say once again, thank you Game Over Jesse for allowing us to join your mailbag.
And sadly, that is our lot. And if you have any further questions for us to answer, or criticism over what we've said, we would love to hear them, so be sure to comment on the bottom of the video below. And don't forget, if you'd like to see us again, to vote us in. It's the only way to be able to get us back.
Yes, this is like Big Brother meets YouTube. If you enjoy our theories and our madcap ideas, then please be sure to make it known so that we can come back with more theories and opinions
just for you.
Yes. And if you'd like to see more of our stuff, then please be sure to check out our YouTube channel, Miketendo64, where we have our very own videos. Not like Zelda Theories, but other sort of video games that we have played, showcases, and our very own Miketendo64 Direct, where we bring news and updates
directly to you. And if you can't be asked to watch anything, our website Miketendo64 has a whole range of feature articles pertaining to Zelda and the likes of that, including is the next remake going to be Phantom Hourglass? All that and more
at Miketendo64. Till next time, take care. Thanks guys and girls for watching this video. If you would like to see more videos, be sure to check out our YouTube channel, Miketendo64. We have various web series like playthroughs and Nintendo news that you may be interested in, from Super Smash Bros to Super Mario Maker. Also, be sure to stay up to date on various news and announcements about Nintendo via our website, Miketendo64.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Well, until next time, keep on gaming.